Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Machem Lo'ira online smicha. Since we're getting closer to Pesach, one of the halachas that is a day before Pesach, and this year actually it's Erev Pesach Shecholi is B'Shabbos, it's a couple of days before Pesach, is the halacha of the Tainis Bechoris, where the Bechoris, the firstborn, fast, usually on Erev Pesach. Now it's interesting to note the Alter Rebbe and Siman Tov Ayin brings the common reason for this Tainis Bechoris. The Alter Rebbe says, Zeicher l'nes, it's to commemorate the miracle, Shenitzoyelu mimakas Bechoris, that the Jewish firstborns were saved. Here the Eibishter is going around and killing the firstborn Egyptians, and the Yidden were saved, the Yiddish firstborns were saved. So to commemorate that, they fast. So the obvious question, which is actually also brought in Mikroi Kodesh from Pesach Frank, he asks, this is quite different than many other celebrations. Throughout our calendar, we find that when we want to celebrate something, a good miracle, something good that happened to us, we celebrate it by making a feast, by making a celebration, not by fasting. So why over here, to remember the nace that they were saved, they fast? So he gives a nice pshat. Well, again, this is not the Mekubal to give pshat. His pshat is, since it was a time that the Eibishter, the Makas Bechoris was happening, and all the Egyptians' firstborns were being killed, and the Eibishter said, Va'atem, but the Jewish children, Loi Teitzu Ish Mi Pesach Beisar Ad Boker, no Jew should come out during the time of the plague. So therefore, he suggests that it must have been that while the plague was happening and the Egyptians ones were being hurt, the Yiddish ones must have been praying and fasting to make sure that they stay safe. Similar to what we find by Tainis Esther, that the Yidden went out to war, and because the girls don't go to fight, they fasted so the war should be successful. So the same, he suggests that the Jewish Bechorim, the Jewish Bechoris at that time must have been davening and crying and fasting to make sure they don't get hurt, they don't get gobbled up in this. And that's why he says it became not a day of a celebration, it actually came a day of fasting, but it's to commemorate the nest that they were saved. It's interesting to note that the Beis Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Cairo, in his Sefer Magid Meisharim and Parashas Vayakel, he actually gives a different reason why you fast, why the Bechorim fast on Erev Pesach. He says Erev Pesach is a very special day. Tonight, we're going to celebrate with the Seder. And by the way we celebrate the Seder is we drink wine, we drink a lot of wine. And we eat matzah, and sometimes the wine could make somebody too freilich, too tipsy, and who knows where it's going to lead. So therefore, it's sort of like we do Bahab after Yom Tif. Says, he doesn't say the comparison, but Rabbi Yosef Cairo says, this is the reason why the Bechoros fast early, because tonight we're going to drink a lot of wine. So the Sutton, the Samal, they shouldn't cause uproar. They shouldn't make the Yidden too tipsy, too freilich to do crazy things. So to humble the Yid before he gets into this great yontif and the drinking of the wine, to be machnia the Yetzer Hara, there's the Indian to fast. To be machnia the koyach of the Sitra Achra, and to show that when you fast, you're showing that the drinking and the eating of the night is not because I'm hungry. You're doing it specifically for our avoid of the Eibishter, and you're being machnia the Yetzer Hara by fasting earlier. Interesting reason. Anyways, so the halacha is that you have to fast, the Bechorim have to fast on Erev Pesach. Here there's a lot of beautiful, interesting tidbits. Number one, who is a Bechor? So typically, when it comes to Pidyon Aben, the Bechor is the firstborn to the mother. If a father had already a child, if this is the firstborn for a mother, it's Bechor Pidyon Aben. For Yerusha, we know that a Bechor gets double for Yerusha. There, it's a firstborn of the father. How about Tainis Bechoros? So the Alter Rebbe says when it came to Taanis, this minig, this halacha, either one of these bechoros have to fast. Either if you're a firstborn for your mother or a firstborn for your father, you fast, because they both are called bechor. And therefore, either one of them is saved. Shebekulam hoisa hamaka. Anybody who was titled bechor could have been, by the Egyptians, they were killed. So the Jewish ones were saved. So even though the Gabe Halacha, not every one of them is always considered a bechor, but to commemorate, to show thankfulness for this miracle, either bechor fasts. Another interesting thing, halachically, there is no bechor in a daughter. There's no bechora in the firstborn girl. Where it comes to the Taanis bechoros, the Alter Rebbe brings in Siv Gimel, some say that even the firstborn girl should fast. Because, again, when the Eibishter says, I'm going to swipe, I'm going to hit the Egyptians' firstborn, by them it didn't make a difference to who it was a firstborn, to the father, to the mother, and it didn't make a difference necessarily if the firstborn was a male or a female. So by the Jewish ones who were saved, they should all celebrate it. So there are those that say that a Jewish firstborn girl should also fast. However, ein noigim came in the selu. That's not the minig. Now it's interesting to note that I read that by Chabad, first of all, there's another beautiful diuk from the Rebbe. The Rebbe says, on Erev Pesach, shachol lias b'Shabbos. Right? So we're not going to fast on Shabbos, because you're not allowed to fast on Shabbos. We fast on Thursday. Whoever's a b'chor fasts on Thursday. What happens if there's a bar mitzvah b'chor who's only becoming bar mitzvah on Friday or on Shabbos? On Shabbos, his birthday is Erev Pesach. Is he mechuyev to fast because he's a b'chor on Erev Pesach, or being that the fast this year, Erev Pesach Sholi Yis B'Shabbos, is going to be on Thursday. On Thursday, he's not yet a bar mitzvah. The Rebbe in Likkutei Sichos Chelik Yuzayin, page 70, suggests that even he should fast because his birth, he doesn't say these words, but his birthday on Erev, the real Erev Pesach, the real Zman, he's a bar mitzvah boy, he should already fast on Thursday. The Rebbe Rashab made a siyum every Erev Pesach, even if he wasn't a bechor. Now the siyum is a replacement. Instead of fasting, there was a replacement. But the Rebbe Rashab made a siyum even if he wasn't a bechor. Interesting to note that the Friedrich Rebbe, they say, the Rebbe writes, the Rebbe said, Yutes Kislev Tavshin Tazayin, the Rebbe said the Friedrich Rebbe would fast, and would fast, he would be mashlim, the whole fast. And some say that there's a double chiddush, because it's even a suffix if he was a bechor. For whatever reason, that's brought in the Shmos of Sipurim. So just interesting tidbits about the minig of Taanis bechoros.